Sag, hello, and welcome to your summer 2024 shapeshift reading. We are looking at the shape you're shifting out of, the shape you're shifting into, and what that shapeshift looks and feels like for the summer season. I'm Andy, I'm your reader, and I am joined by the Krans tarot set. We have the animals, we have the archetypes, and of course, the wild unknown. So we're going to use the whole thing in your shapeshift reading today. Sag, I do these readings seasonally, so they are meant to be watched at the beginning of the summer, halfway through the summer to check in with your shift, and then again at the end to look back in hindsight and see how you've shifted. So I hope you watch it at least 3 times. I hope you join me on this summer shift experience. All right, Sag, what is your shapeshift for the summer? Okay. Oh, all right. We got the gazelle and the crow. Cancer got the crow. I think. Pretty sure. Okay, beautiful cards. Just get the full thing and then we'll get into it. Okay, let's pull an archetype card for what your shapeshift looks and feels like this summer. Help us understand. Wow. Okay, Sag. What's up with this? Your format is similar to the Scorpio format with these 2 archetypes in the center and then the animals on the outside. Let's just look at it together and I'll read from the guidebook. You have, I think, maybe I'll reorder it, but the shapeshift has to do with the gazelle and the crow, and then what that shapeshift looks and feels like is the warrior and the father. So I guess let's start with the gazelle. The gazelle showing up as a fire animal in this deck. Let's read it. Feels Sagittarian in nature for sure. Heightened awareness and ability. Vulnerability. Interesting. The gazelle represents supreme grace. With every move, this awe-inspiring beauty amidst sophistication and elegance. Gazelle personalities are often hyper-aware of their surroundings, bordering on hyper-vigilant. And this can inhibit them from enjoying the beauty they've spent so much effort cultivating. No more worrying about all those predators out there in the wild, Sag. When this card appears, it's time to get back to the present moment. Sit down, find your breath, and acknowledge the bounty that surrounds you. Let it nourish your gentle spirit. When in balance, the gazelle is graceful, perceptive, and artistic. When out of balance, the gazelle experiences food allergies, insomnia, and a racing mind. Interesting. To bring that into balance, try yin yoga, a cozy home, and good food. Okay, I love that because it's speaking to like Cancerian themes. And then the crow came out for the Cancer reading. So let's read the crow as quite possibly the shape you're shifting into here. Crow, 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 crow. Okay. Spiritually strong, creative, and watchful. The crow has long been a symbol of magic. A crow personality is drawn to the supernatural and has a gift for seeing the unseen, knowing the unknown. It is said that the crow holds within its mind's eye the 3 realities, past, present, and future. Crow energy is potent and should only be tapped into when the mind is clear. Those with crow tendencies must balance their lives with a healthy diet, joyful friends, and regular self-study. When in balance, the crow is psychic, strong, and clear. When out of balance, the crow is ungrounded and hypersensitive. To bring this into balance, try a daily meditation practice. Okay, yes. Beautiful, Sagittarius. We have this like gorgeous gazelle representation of your energy. Yeah. And it's saying, this is you, Sag, and you're so beautiful. You're so graceful and creative and artistic and like perceptive. And also sometimes way too hypervigilant and way like a little too aware, to the point where it gets into like some anxiety modes. And so the crow is here to, I think, encourage you to deepen your perceptive abilities into like a spiritual practice in order to get away from hypervigilance, worry, and like anxiety, and always feeling like the next predator is like around the corner, right over your shoulder, about to pounce. It's sort of like the crow is more of this like cultivating this like stoic energy, which again, I'm going to direct you to the Cancer reading, because it talked about cultivating stillness. And because we will all traverse Cancer season through the summer, that is a collective energy as well, because we will all move through the sun's journey through Cancer. So you're being asked to kind of find more of a grace, more of a stillness, less of a worrying, hyper vigilant. What did that just say about the crow? It was like hyper aware, hypersensitive. It's like you can verge on hypervigilance and hypersensitivity to a point that can be debilitating. And I think this reading wants you to get back to the strength in your hyperperceptive abilities by bringing it more into balance and channeling it more creatively, channeling it more gracefully as the gazelle. So it's not really a shapeshift. It's more of just like the crow energy is informing how you become a more balanced version of the gazelle and all of its qualities. And then like the way you do that is through the warrior and the father. So wild. I mean, like, look at these horns. Let's read. What's the song? I am the warrior. Okay. Which is interesting because that sort of evokes this sense of like self-confidence that maybe would counteract the hypervigilance. Oops. The warrior. Let's read it together. Okay, the Archetypes describes this as the samurai, the soldier, the advocate. We often envision the warrior as an armed figure with sword in hand moving blindly towards battle. Yet the deeper aspects of this archetype bring us face to face with death itself. The warrior stands precariously at the edge of life and death, trusting the eternal to guide the sword's blade. The warrior's work requires presence, alignment, and purpose. If and when the warrior loses its center, when you go into hypervigilance, fear-driven, anxiety, paranoia, hypersensitivity, meaningless confrontations and violence are their default response. Interesting. It's like very Mars. Where's your Mars? Okay. When this card appears, it is important to question the battle at hand. It is likely a great one, with deep roots and long-standing tensions. The actions you take will stay with you long after the dust settles, so choose wisely, brave one. Brave one. This reading is about bravery. Okay. As you draw your sword, realign with the eternal wisdom within and surrender to the battle. When in balance, the warrior is fierce, has fierce clarity, purposeful action, resolve, and resilience. That's really beautiful. So it's not this like self-doubt, like wavering, like, oh, should I, or is that good, or is that bad, or like, again, like that's anxiety driven, that's hypervigilance, that's fear-based. Whereas this warrior is like fierce with clarity, purposeful action, and like clear resolve. When out of balance, the warrior perceives threats and therefore threatens. Can abandon their mission and values and exhibit violence. To go deeper, read chapter 68 of the Tao Te Ching and read the Bhagavad Gita. Fine. Be careful, as the warrior implies war. The two go hand in hand. Those who defeat others are strong. Those who defeat themselves are mighty. Yeah, this is your own battle, Sagittarius. And if you're finding yourself kind of projecting these struggles onto other people or making it the fault of the other, or feeling like you're battling others, consider that you're really battling yourself, and like come back to your own hypervigilance and your own like hypersensitivity, this kind of thing. Without a true purpose, manifesto, or oath, the warrior is lost. What do you stand for, Sag? Huge Sagittarian existential question. What are you willing to rise in the name of? Write it out. Okay, gorgeous. And now we will read the Father. The masculinity, the protector. Alongside the mother, the father resides in the central axis of the archetypal family. The father embodies both light and dark aspects of the masculine. He is infinitely dynamic and complex. His energy is strong and regal, embodying such virtues as honesty, wisdom, and loyalty. And yet, ironically and simultaneously, the father is often absent, literally or emotionally. Through absence or action, the father eventually reveals that he is neither king nor God, but a human being with many flaws and wounds. He is both the guardian and the one who leaves us to the wolves. Here yet gone, the champion and the failure. The father can never resolve or escape this duality. It is inherent in the archetype itself. Witnessing the father's limitations allows the child to grow beyond the family and into the world. Okay, beautiful. So this is like such an edge of growth and maturity, and finding your own strength rather than relying on the strength of your parents, or rather than relying on the strength of like these other figures that you give power to. It's like, no, this is about you finding your own warrior, finding your own strength. When in balance, the father is supportive, strategic, regal, kind, and holds authority. When out of balance, the father disappears, disappoints, is devastated by failure. To go deeper, look at Saturn Devouring His Son by both Peter Paul Rubens and Francisco Goya. Their paintings, I believe. Become the student of this masculinity. Watch the father in movies, in Shakespeare plays. See the father as a pattern, not personal. Okay, cool. Read poems about the father. Sharon Olds' His Stillness, William Blake's Little Boy Lost. So you're recognizing your own like mental and psychic strength, like your own inner strength. And maybe you need to kind of examine like the strong figures in your life that you either like project all of your own strength onto them and like give them all of your power, or just like examine like the kind of powerful figures you've come from. Like, where have they disappointed? Where have they failed? Where have they revealed weakness? And how does that translate into your own like fears and worries and anxieties and hypervigilance? And how can you kind of heal that by cultivating your own sense of inner knowing and resolve and trust in yourself, so that you can like wield this perceptive ability that you have with grace, because you have a clear sense of purpose and resolve and trust in what you are doing and why, without questioning it. It's like if you need to make a decision this month, Sagittarius, or this season rather, you need to do it with clear resolve, and you need to freaking trust yourself. And just go with grace, rather than fretting in anxiety and hypervigilance and paranoia and like feeling like something horrible is going to happen. Where does that come from? Cultivate that inner warrior. Make your choice and go. Align with your purpose. Make your choice and go. Cool. Okay, really cool reading so far. Again, watch that Cancer reading. I think it's going to help you. Sag. If this is resonating and you would like to continue on with me now, I'm going to pull from the wild unknown. I'm going to pull from the liminal space, and we're going to basically do a whole part 2 to this reading. So if you want more, click the link in the description below, and that will take you to the shifting space where we will investigate these readings together throughout the season. We'll watch the readings together. We will loop in the astrology. We'll share our personal and collective shift experiences. So if this sounds like something that would be helpful for you, I hope to see you in the shifting space. Okay. Sag. Let's see what's up with this summer shift.